morning, it's Denise with 12 Leaves Gardening. Today we're going to pot up the Rebecchias that I started back in January 28th. It's time to get them, move them up a container. I had to make a decision. Now, these containers I purchased, but I've asked my friends, you don't have to buy containers, but my goal is to start a backyard nursery. So I want them to be in black because they're not a name brand like, you know, from a big box store or wholesaler. So, but I have friends who gave me all their containers, which I will use to when I pot up things that I'm going to use for myself. So with that said, I could go to, this is a 3.5, and this is like a 4.5. I think I'm going to go with the 4.5 because then I'm going to heel them in, and these will be ready for next year. Not this year, but for next year, to be able to start my backyard nursery. So with that said, thanks for joining me, and welcome to 12 Leaves Gardening. My name's Denise. Now the gardening soil, the potting soil mix that I use, I mix up with myself, and I use peat moss, and I've been beginning to use this Coco Loco, which is the core of a coconut shell, and that comes with perlite in it. If I need more perlite, and the perlite is an aerator for to keep the roots having some air. So the perlite, if I want it, I have a bucket full of the perlite. And the perlite, you gotta watch. So this stuff flies up and it gets into your lungs. So I do like the fact that the other soil has it in there, so I don't have to mess with that. So if I have to, I can add that to it. So what I'll do is I begin to add some Coco Loco. I like potting it up out here. The table height is right. My husband wanted to build me a gardening bench. I'm like, I don't need another thing to be moving around. So I'm going to put a good bit of that in there. And I like to use peat moss. I like to get this smaller container because I can handle it. I just can't handle the 50-pound bags to be able to work with my flowers. So I just put some of that in. And that's a nice aerator. And I just mix it up. Put this out of here. Mix it up. I like to feel the dirt. The soil is fairly damp. I could add more water if I wanted to. When I'm starting seeds, I definitely add more water. Now, I know there's all kinds of fancy trays you can get. This could be a simple tray you get at the dollar store, like a wash bin for your sink, a plastic container. Believe it or not, I got this at the pet store. It was $25 compared to buying one of the fancy green ones from the gardening catalog for $45. So with that said, I like to kind of get my dirt in there. Oh, got a little crazy there. Pull out the bigger sticks. And I like to pot up, put the dirt in the containers before I start pulling them out. And then I go to the next stage. It's that easy. Now, one of the other things I want to be sure to do is that when I get them all potted up, I want to be sure to tag them. You can buy tags online, at the gardening stores. But I have found, especially because I'm thinking of backyard nursery gardening, a fork. You can get 140 forks for just a couple bucks. I'll write the name on the handle of the fork, and then I'm going to stick it in there like that. And then as they move around, I'll know what they are. You'll never ever remember what you've planted. And then someday when somebody buys this, if they're going to buy it in this smaller container, or maybe I'll pot it up to the next size, they can dig it out with the little fork to get it out of the container. So it doesn't have to be, again, doesn't have to be everything expensive. Simple fork. Okay, so I like to use the fork, a kitchen fork, a metal fork, and I get in there and pull out my seedlings. Now, There's 2 there. I can be brave and I can break them apart and pot them up into 2 separate containers. The Shastas are going to grow pretty fast. And it's always a choice of what to do. So let me just pull some out of here and let's see what we have. Then I'll make that decision. I don't want to break their roots apart too early. I think I'd rather a fuller plant to sell than a skimpy plant. So with that said, I'll take that and then just put it inside the dirt. Get it in there, then I'll water them all in, tag them, stick their fork in, and then I'll keep them watered and shaded. They like sun, but at first growing, I have to be cautious with them. Then I think I'm going to heel them in for the winter and see if I can winter them over. That's the goal, winter them over. And I can show you that when we get to that point. So thanks for joining me. My name's Denise from 12 Leaves Gardening. If you enjoyed my journey into starting a backyard nursery, come back and see me. Be blessed. Thank you.